Right now at 5, leadership questions leave the city of McCune, Kansas scrambling to fill government positions.
We've got thunderstorms, we've got heat advisories, we've got sunshine, we've got clouds. We'll go over all of that with you coming up.
Plus, a Joplin business breaks ground on a big new expansion in Pittsburgh that could bring jobs and an economic boost.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now finally Friday in the 4 states.
Here we are.
Oh, man. We made it through another week.
Right.
Another hot week.
Oh, another really hot one. It feels like the days kind of just blend together.
They really
meld
do.
together.
Yeah, I think they melt together pretty easily out there. Another hot one. Of course, it's, by the way, July 25th. I haven't told you what day it is. Now we all know. Now we can move on. We're going to start with our forecast and then, of course, a quick look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. We do have some scattered thunderstorms in our area, which we're going to show you in just a moment. MoDOT camera 20th in range line looking back to the south. Looking pretty good this morning as well. So here is the Skywatch Storm Tracker. And right now, not much in our immediate area. We still have some rain out there in our area. The bulk of it's moved out, but up in some of our far northern counties, of course, north of Garnett and back, just again, really immediately outside of our area. A few scattered storms. Nothing strong, nothing severe, but if you're heading up north on 69 or 49, just be aware we got some heavier rain up there and some thunderstorms. Out toward Burlington and Eureka, a few isolated scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder, and then one little cell there in southwestern Elk County, not much, but we are watching these storms again. And I say watching. I know when we use that phrase, sometimes that means we're worried about them. We're not worried about them. We're just keeping an eye on them because they're trying to drift off to the north and east, and so some of those might begin to impact our weather here or bring some additional scattered showers and storms for us in the next couple of minutes here. So here's a look at that loop, and you can see where we had some of those storms go on through for us out there this morning. And we've got these ones we're keeping an eye on as well. And of course, here's a look at our heat index our heat advisories out there this morning. And when I spoke with you last on Wednesday, we were talking about the possibility of these being extended, and that's been the case across Kansas and into Oklahoma. The Kansas, Missouri ones, they will run through Tuesday evening. So we're at that point, though. We are seeing some slightly higher heat index values, so you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Additionally, tonight, we could get a few strong to low-grade severe storms out there in parts of the area, which does come with an isolated tornado risk in our far northwestern counties, an isolated wind risk as well. Quick look at the future track. After these storms move through, we get a break, and then into the afternoon, some additional pop-up storms and eventually a few more scattered storms across southeast Kansas as we go overnight. Temperatures right now are a bit on the hot side, or not hot side, I'm sorry, but the warm side for sure. Low mid 70s and even some upper 70s out there. And as we head through the rest of the day, about 80 by 9, 90 by noon, mid 90s for our highs today. And some of those isolated storms, south breeze 5 to 10, heat index values 105, potentially up to 110 in some cases. So again, just make sure you're taking care of yourself. We'll talk more about our storm chances and the heat and how much longer it's going to stick around here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, city government in the small town of McCune, Kansas is getting some new faces after a shakeup prompted by a wave of resignations. It comes after a letter was posted on the door of the McCune City Hall. It says that due to the unexpected and simultaneous resignations of the mayor and council president, 2 council members, the city clerk, and both the public works superintendents, the governing body of City of McCune currently lacks a quorum. A special meeting at City Hall was held to address the leadership void. The 2 remaining council members appointed other council members from among people in attendance. Then the council chose a new mayor, and that mayor, Nicholas Napier, tells us he does not intend to stay in the position long and hopes a replacement can be elected in November.
I prefer to be a city council member because you got to vote, and I have young children that I promised them that I wouldn't work. I don't have to. I'm a disabled vet, so I'm blessed for that reason that I don't have to work. I mean, I don't mind taking the position as well for the city. and to help the community out.
Now, the council is now planning a special election for Friday of next week to fill the vacant employee positions. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can always download the KOAM News app, available free of charge in the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Joplin-based Eagle Pitcher held a groundbreaking for its newest facility coming to Pittsburgh yesterday. The 20,000 square foot building is expected to offer an economic boom to the city, creating at least 50 new jobs. As KOAM's Samantha Walker reports, the expansion is a continuation of decades-long partnership between Eagle Pitcher and the city of Pittsburgh.
What's currently an open field near the Tyler Research Center in Pittsburgh will soon become the site of Eagle Pitcher's next facility. The Joplin-based company says they wanted to bring this expansion to Pittsburgh because they've had success here before.
We've had plants on the East Coast, West Coast, and it's hard to beat the Midwest workforce. And I think there's a loyalty to the mission that we support.
At this facility, production will largely serve the U.S. Department of Defense. Eagle Pitcher produces roughly 85% of all batteries used by the U.S. military and its allies, like those used in a B-2 bomber. And the demand for those products continues to rise, creating the need for additional worker shifts.
Today we typically operate a single shift, and some of the programs that we're talking about are discussing a 4x increase in the production rate for those. So we see a lot of growth with new programs and also with the existing programs that we have.
Pittsburgh City Manager Darren Hall describes their partnership with Eagle Pitcher as a win-win. The city is investing in the construction of the new facility, which will be repaid over the next 10 years with interest through a lease. Hall says the city sold $6.5 million worth of bonds to help pay for the project.
We'll also oversee the construction in line with Branco, their general. So pretty unique, but we think it's a great investment. We're able to do it because we have been in partnership with them for so long.
This facility, in its first year, is expected to make $10 million. Hall says this is a jumping-off point for development in the city.
This entire area behind me is going to be the site of the KBI facility, as well as the NEMA prove-out facility over here. So there'll be $80 million worth of buildings and equipment back here within a year. So we won't have to mow this anymore. We can actually use it as job creation. It's great.
Hall says it's representative of Pittsburgh's push to bring well-paying industry jobs to the area.
At our heart, we're a custom manufacturing community, so the people that live here tend to be skilled in that area. So we want to create jobs that will allow them to find work. So it's just kind of a match made in heaven.
That's ultimately been the goal, is to bring more things back to the local, Pittsburgh, Joplin area. And so as we see growth coming, we want to focus on the area and bring jobs back to this location.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Eagle Pitcher staff say they expect the facility to be fully operational around this time next year. Construction is estimated to take 8 months, and it will take 2 to 3 months to move in equipment. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Texas lawmakers demand answers about one of the state's deadliest floods. Hear the testimony about failed warning systems and missed opportunities. Plus, firefighters respond to help someone, then watch their own truck get stolen and driven on a destructive rampage. Plus, dangerous heat continues. Chris returns with another look at your forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch, state lawmakers in Texas are asking what went wrong and failed responses after catastrophic flooding killed more than 100 people on July 4th. The politicians met with emergency management Wednesday in a joint hearing filled with pointed questions and emotional responses. Abigail Velez has a recap.
We as a state are better than that, and we can do better.
It's one of the deadliest floods in Texas history, and today, state lawmakers got their first chance to ask why. The answers were often hard to hear.
There is no system in place today to ensure that County Judge X or Mayor Y or Emergency Manager Z is getting the same information that we are getting from the National Weather Service.
You do see the problem with that, right?
I do.
The state's top emergency chief, Nimkid, says Texas does not have a central flood siren system, so there's no guarantee local officials get the same alerts as the state. Lawmakers say that gap may have cost life-saving hours, and so did the lack of a clear chain of command.
At 5:32 a.m., another rescue team arrives in Kerr County and asks, who's in command? The dispatcher team says they don't have an incident command. Can you advise who's running command? The team asks, how do you coordinate the efforts?
Then the focus shifted to local responsibility.
Who was behind the wheel in the middle of the night in Kerr County that should have been the person that was up being prepared to sound the alarm?
I cannot answer that.
The Upper Guadalupe River Authority manages the river which flooded Kerrville and has played a role in flood planning for decades.
I think anybody would have done anything in their power to prevent the devastation if it had been predicted.
After a deadly flood in 1988, the UGRA raised taxes to build a flood warning system, but years later, the system fell apart. When a recent engineering study called for a $1 million upgrade, the UGRA didn't fund it. Instead, they lowered taxes, accumulated millions in reserves, and let the system lapse.
And that's pretty de minimis to be talking about all the lives that were lost on July the 4th.
I understand.
One current UGRA board member, Dick Eastland, was also a camp owner. He died in this month's floods in Kerr County. The Houston Chronicle reports his board voted to reject a state grant just 2 years ago, a grant that could have helped fund the upgrade.
This decision is just pathetic. I don't have any other way to put it.
The next public hearing will take place in Kerrville on July 31st. Flood survivors and local officials will testify for the first time. And still to come, dementia cases could triple by 2050, and new research shows pollution plays a major role. Plus, Chris will have a look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, a stolen fire engine goes on a destructive fender bender, and a stowaway snake on a Chicago commuter train finds its way back to its pirate-dressed owner. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
Like something out of the video game Grand Theft Auto, authorities in Everett, Washington say someone stole a fire engine and went on a lengthy fender bender. The truck was stolen from fire officials responding to a medical emergency and was taken on a destructive joyride through the Seattle suburbs' streets, damaging parked cars and residential landscaping. Locals who witnessed the ordeal were baffled.
Scraping, screeching, but loud but long. All the cars, they weren't just wrecked. They were demolished.
A total of 14 vehicles across multiple locations were heavily damaged, but thankfully no injuries were reported. The fire engine suffered significant damage and has been sidelined while police investigate the bizarre incident. Speaking of the police, this guy may look the part, but officials in Southern California say he was only pretending to be an officer. The Hemet Police Department says they arrested a man operating a motorcycle sporting emergency lights, all while wearing an official-looking uniform, duty belt, and firearm. Hemet PD says not only was the suspect not licensed to provide security services, he's a convicted felon and is prohibited from carrying a firearm or stun gun. Locals were stunned by the news.
He could have been robbing, he could have been pulling people over unlawfully, God only knows.
Finally, from a fake cop to a very real snake. That's what Chicago area authorities say got loose on a commuter train when it escaped from its owner. Officials responded and found the slithering stowaway coiled up inside a control panel. They then returned it to its owner, who was, check my notes here, yes, dressed like a pirate. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth with a capital R.
Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Watch Storm Tracker this morning. You can see we have some scattered showers and storms in our far western counties. A few more storms possible. We also have heat advisories in place. Another look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is currently 5:21 on this Friday morning. We do have a few scattered showers out there and a few rumbles of thunder into our far northern counties across the area. So around Coffee County, back toward Burlington, back into Greenwood County, Elk County, and a couple of stray showers into Chautauqua County. So a few scattered storms around the Eureka area. Not a lot out there at this time. We'll monitor the development that's trying to take place back down here from Ponca City along I-35 towards Stillwater, and the new development that you can see is somewhat new out there in between all of that, in between I-35 and I-44 in northeastern Oklahoma. At this time, with this activity, we're not expecting anything severe, which is some good news, but we'll see exactly as you watch how these kind of flare up here. We'll see what they do. They're trying to lift northeast. If we get activity further east into Oklahoma, that would give it at least an opportunity to reach a few more locations. That's all. That's assuming we get this to actually flare up and sustain contain. It's also assuming it lives long enough to even get into our area if it does get going. So again, just some rain, showers, thunderstorms for some of us this morning. These will continue through about 10 a.m. Then they die out, and we'll get more storms later today with pop-up storms initially and scattered storms overnight. And some of those could be strong, low-grade, severe. Our far northwestern counties, we do have an isolated tornado risk, but it's just kind of barely clipping us. We have this wind risk out there, which is over a broader portion of southeast Kansas. So what do our storm chances look like on Future Track? Again, into the afternoon, they're not too terribly impressive. We'll start seeing, especially after 3, some isolated pop-up storm chances show up on the Future Track through the late afternoon, evening. Most of us will remain dry. Then as we go overnight, similar to what we're seeing now, we could get a few additional scattered storms into southeastern Kansas. And this is, again, you can already see on Future Track, they're not too terribly impressive by midnight, but these are the ones that if they try, they might bring some strong to low-grade severe storms across parts of southeast Kansas. And then they die out. And that's it. They're done. They are over. We go into Saturday morning, a few isolated storms initially in Kansas, and we go into the afternoon hours. It'll be another day of isolated pop-up storms. Now, right now, we don't have any severe risk areas highlighted, but you can see on Future Track hinting that maybe, like what we saw yesterday, 1 or 2 of these storms might try and intensify tomorrow afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on it, and just make sure you're keeping an eye on the Skywatch weather app. Then by Sunday, no more pop-up storm chances. We'll have a few clouds here and there, and it just gets downright hot. Our heat index values remaining at potentially dangerous levels, 100 to 105 for us on our Fridays. We go into Saturday, they're a bit higher. Now we're starting to get a bit above 105, getting in some locations close to 110. Maybe not quite that hot, but as you can see, it gets pretty toasty, especially the further south and west you go. And those are Sunday evenings, feels like temperatures. And we go into Monday. Monday looks to be a pretty unpleasant day. Still several days out, this could change a bit, but right now we are looking at widespread heat index values getting close to 110. So just want to make sure you're taking care of yourself out there. Heat advisories, as such, go through Tuesday evening now for Kansas and Missouri. Oklahoma, again, they'll be reissued each day, but they'll probably hang around just as long. So remember our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. Every day we have this extreme heat. We're going to have heat safety tips on there, and there's a lot of them and some great information, and it'll be right there at your fingertips. All right, so we got the scattered storms we'll keep an eye on out west through the morning. They should be done by 10, 11 a.m. Upper 70s by 8 and into the upper 80s by the 11 o'clock hour, getting close to 90, mid-90s today, and really in through the weekend. Pop-up storms again tomorrow. Staying hot, more rain chances next week, and we might even start to come back a little closer to normal. Maybe brief, but at least we'll cool off a little bit for parts of next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, exposure to air pollution may increase your risk for dementia. Research by the University of Cambridge found that pollution from car exhaust emissions, wood-burning stoves, fireplaces, and construction dust are all linked to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. It's estimated that the number of people with dementia worldwide could triple by 2050. Stigma towards patients with substance use disorders remains common. A study from Columbia University showed while progress has been made in reducing stigma, nearly a third of healthcare providers say they prefer not to work with patients with opioid or stimulant use disorders. Providers had higher levels of compassion and treatment for people with other conditions, including depression, HIV, and diabetes. And there are racial disparities in treatment for men with prostate cancer. A study published in JAMA found that Black men newly diagnosed with prostate cancer were 6% less likely to receive testing like repeat biopsies, MRIs, and genomics tests than white men. The difference in care could be why mortality rates are higher for Black men. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, the Neosho School District gets a big grant for its reading program.
And we've got some scattered storms for some of us. It is going to continue to stay potentially dangerously hot. We'll have a look at all of that coming up.
Plus, young actors master both stage performance and technical skills at a Pittsburgh theater camp.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29, just about coming up on 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Friday, July the 25th. Another week under our belts as we get closer to the start of school.
Yes, and the start of August next week.
That's right around the corner, so kids get ready because school's going to be starting back up before you know
hard to believe, yeah.
You know, and you ever notice, at least when I was a kid, when you go back to school shopping, there's something about the stores. They smell different almost.
I totally get it.
Weird
it might
vibe.
be the notebooks or something. I don't know what it is.
It might be, but they almost have a different scent to them. That and all the backpacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So, back to school around the corner. Not today, though, thankfully, because it's a little too hot to be outside to do much. Let's start with that live look downtown Pittsburgh. And we've got clear skies for some of us and not so clear for others out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also looking good. Now we're going to take a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, show you what we've got out here. So back up into Coffee County around Burlington, we've got some showers, a few rumbles of thunder out there. They stretch south and west into Greenwood County, right around the Eureka area. I was wanting to call it Eureka County. Back down into parts of Elkins, so Chautauqua County. Now these little showers I want to just point out here that are west of Fredonia, this one here, some of these here, they have actually kind of started to flare up just within the last 15-20 minutes. So again, we're not anticipating anything severe with this activity. We just need to see how organized this activity gets, because that could alter our expectations for little later today for the region out there. So here's a look at the loop. So we've got the scattered showers, thunderstorms continuing. They've been pushing through. They're lifting almost north-northeast. But again, if we get some additional development ahead of this, like it's trying, then a few more of us might get rain compared to others. But like I said, we just have to wait and see how this all plays out this morning. Heat advisories, again, Missouri, Kansas, through at least Tuesday now. We spoke with when I talked with you all on Wednesday, said that was a possibility, and it certainly has come true. And of course, Tulsa will do this day by day, but heat advisories down there continue as well. Now, the problem is our heat index values are starting to climb a bit, just a bit above the 105. So we're back into heat exhaustion likely, heat stroke being possible. We could also get some strong storms later tonight into southeast Kansas. The risk, as you can see, is isolated, but it's a possibility. We'll break that down for you before too much longer. And then here's our future track, though, for today. Storms this morning, assuming they play by the rules, should fizzle out by about 10, 11 o'clock. We'll have isolated pop-up storms through the afternoon, and then as we go late into the evening and overnight hours, we'll get another round of scattered storms out in our western counties. Quick look at the temperatures. We're sitting, some of us, into the low to mid-70s. We've had some clouds, we've had some rain, and then out ahead of that, we've still got some upper 70s out there. Eventually looking at 80 by 9, 90 by noon, mid-90s for highs. Heat index values today up to at least 105 in many cases. South winds 5 to 10. As I mentioned, we'll break down our storm chances and talk how much longer this heat's going to stick around here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. So the Neosho School District receives $1 million grant to transform literacy education. It's called the Comprehensive Literacy State Development Grant, funded by the U.S. Department of Education. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, the district says this funding isn't just about teaching students to read, but developing a deep understanding of what they're reading.
If kids don't learn how to read, they can't function in society.
Heather Sides is a kindergarten teacher for Neosho School District. She's been teaching for 18 years. She says things have changed over the years, but some things have stayed the same.
There's a lot that can be learned through hands-on, through paper pencil. We use whiteboards and markers more than we use iPads.
Sides says in order to achieve this, she's going to need a few things.
We always need text for the kids to read that is appropriate for them, that it's developmentally and grade level appropriate.
Support Sides in her quest to teach reading more efficiently. Autumn Mosby, the district literacy coach, says they will utilize a $1 million grant given by the U.S. Department of Education.
We're talking things like books, items for phonics instruction, developing our reading comprehension skills. So our grant will really help us gather the materials that will allow us to be successful in implementing those strategies.
Some of the funding will be used to educate teachers because Mosby says it's not just about reading text.
We want to make sure that we are spending time creating lessons that not only will allow our kids to become fluent readers, but also be able to comprehend at a deep level.
Really excited about the training that we get to do and days like today where we get to come and meet together with our peers and be really focused and intentional about what things we're going to teach.
And the end goal is to change lives one word at a time. Reporting in Neosho, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, nearly $5.9 million was allocated from the U.S. Department of Education to schools in the state of Missouri. And now, of course, you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app, available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. It's also available on our news and weather apps, and of course, our website as well. You can watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, it's a tropical paradise at the 132nd Allen County Fair, and the Baby Barnyard is one of the main attractions. First established in 1978 inside a barn built in the 1930s, the exhibit features moms and their babies, including goats, a kangaroo, mini zebras, and more. And young performers are learning more than just acting at the Rising Stars Theater Camp in Pittsburgh. The month-long camp is in preparation for the Beetlejuice Jr. production that will open August 1st. While one group is rehearsing on stage, another group is learning behind the scenes, doing tech work like lighting, sound, and more. The camp is an opportunity for students to meet and collaborate with kids from other schools who have similar interests. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. California residents battle rising gas prices and emission laws. Plus, the USDA will be undergoing some major reorganization. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, Lyft has introduced a new feature that lets riders mark their favorite drivers in the rideshare app. Now, if the driver they choose is available at that time, they are matched. The announcement comes a day after Uber launched a service that lets female passengers choose women drivers. Well, McDonald's plans to test a lineup of flavorful new drinks in hundreds of U.S. stores. The fast food giant describes the beverages as cold coffees, fruity refreshers, crafted sodas, and energizing sips. They will first be available at restaurants in Wisconsin and Colorado in early September. And Guinness is teaming up with Van Leeuwen ice cream this summer for a creamy treat. The collaboration features Guinness flavored ice cream mixed with chocolate chunks. Van Leeuwen has previously created new flavors with brands including Hidden Valley Ranch and Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. The California lawmakers are pushing for relaxed emission rules in the hopes of bringing down gas prices. A group of Democrats is spearheading the proposal after the closure of several state refineries. Stephen Large has details.
Gas price politics.
This is an emergency.
Now, Democratic State Senator Jerry McNerney of Stockton is spearheading a proposal for flexible emission standards.
In times of shortage, I think people are okay with having slightly more emissions in order to keep the prices affordable for Californians.
But your idea is that if prices reach a certain height, then the emission standards can be changed.
Can be relaxed. Yeah, that's one way that could work out.
McNerney's emergency plan follows the announced closure of several state refineries, leaving a tight supply and potential for spikes if one of the refineries left suddenly goes offline. He's calling on California to create an alternative fuel blend with other Western states to create more supply.
Gasoline prices are something that people are hyper aware of. That is a way to save.
Ethan Elkind is the director of the UC Berkeley Center for Law, Energy, and the Environment and says California's environmental priorities are now taking a backseat to its affordability crisis when it comes to gas.
I think it's such a reflection of how much legislators are feeling this pressure to go to their constituents and say, look, we're trying to reduce prices.
Politics at the pump, now pitting California's strict standards for clean air with its affordability crisis.
Now, the Western States Petroleum Association opposes the plan, saying it doesn't address their needs for more investments in their industry. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Now, here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms for some of us. Most of us, at least right now, are dry, but we do also have a flood warning in for Elk County and Greenwood County now through 12:45. So remember, turn around, don't drown. We've had quite a bit of rainfall over there since last night. I'll have another full look at your forecast, break down our storm chances and the hot weather for you when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now, 5:42.
Well, the USDA is announcing a major reorganization. Details on the plans are in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. A major announcement from Australia. The country's saying it will ease restrictions on beef imports from the U.S. Now, U.S. beef has been restricted in Australia since 2003 due to concerns about bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE. Now, you might have heard it called mad cow disease before. The country's ag minister is saying they have concluded that U.S. measures to monitor and control the movement of cattle means biosecurity risks are being effectively managed. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins signing off on a major reorganization of USDA. The plan will move much of the agency's workforce in Washington to 5 regional hubs, which you see on your screen. It will vacate 3 buildings it uses around Washington, but will remain in its USDA headquarters. Now, it says it currently has about 4,600 employees in Washington, D.C. It expects no more than 2,000 USDA employees to remain there after the reorganization. About 15% of its total workforce has taken one of the agency's 2 financial incentive offers to leave the agency. And fans of the Wizarding World will want to grab this sweet treat. Kinder Joy teaming up with the folks over at Harry Potter and Funko to create a Quidditch collection. Each egg contains a creamy chocolate treat and one of 16 Quidditch-themed Funko toys. They're available now through December at major retailers. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Here's Chris now with a full look at your forecast.
This morning we are starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker because we do have again a few showers, a few rumbles of thunder out there in the southeastern Kansas. A reminder, we have flood warnings now for Elk and Greenwood counties that will continue through 12:45 just due to the heavy rain that we've seen out to the west. So we've got some showers, thunderstorms up around the Burlington area and Crawford, Coffee County rather. Goodness, I need a little more coffee this morning. We've got this little guy that's to the north of Yates Center, and so what we've got is we do have some new development. You see that one flaring up here within the last, again, about 15 minutes or so. And in the eastern portions of Elk and Greenwood counties, same thing. We've got, in the last half hour or so, we've had some new development flare up there. A few showers down through Chautauqua County. The showers and thunderstorms, or the showers that we're trying to get going that you can see here, let me point it out for you. Right here, these, unfortunately, didn't last very long. So that's what I'm talking about with anything we see that develops. We'll just have to watch and see if it's able to sustain, because if it can, that'll just impact how much further east some of the rain chances can move. Now, right now, the expectation is it doesn't get much further east than this. That's kind of what we're seeing. But see how there's this new development on the leading edge. If it gets going, because this did not, then it could slide a little further to the east with this activity. If it doesn't, then we'll stick with the expectation of the rain mainly into our western counties. We also, overnight, or late this evening overnight, have a chance for some strong, low-grade severe thunderstorms. And we do have in our far northwestern counties an isolated tornado risk. It's barely clipping us, but it is there. And then we have this isolated wind risk. And again, it's following suit with what I was just talking about, because the storms over the last couple of days, the majority of them have followed this same path here. And so that's why this strong storm risk is in that same zone. These storms that we've got this morning, the expectation is they will begin to die out, and by about 10, 11 o'clock this morning, they're done. Maybe a lingering shower or two, but that's it. Then we go into the afternoon, and initially we go back to pop-up storm chances into the afternoon, especially after 3. And then later this evening, we'll start to see more organized shower and thunderstorm development. Now, right now on Future Track, you can see this doesn't look like much more than showers by about midnight. But if these hold from activity will be off to our west, then they could be the ones, these would be the ones that, again, after about 11 o'clock tonight, could produce some of those strong to low-grade severe storms. But like all of our other activity, they don't move much, and the ones that do move off to the north and east, and they just cut off right in that same zone out there. A few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder Saturday morning, and then by Saturday afternoon, we go back to pop-up storm chances. Future Track is hinting, at least right now, that maybe there's a stronger low-grade severe storm on Saturday. We don't have any risk areas highlighted right now for Saturday, but it's something we'll keep an eye on. So by Saturday afternoon, especially in the southeast Kansas, you just want to keep an eye to the sky, keep the Skywatch weather app handy, just in case we have a situation like we did yesterday where one or two of these storms tries to get a little unruly out there. Still, otherwise, just scattered pop-up showers and storms. And as we roll into our Sunday, that's it for a little bit. We are done with any even pop-up storm chances right now. Heat index values today, again, up to 100 to 105 as we head into the afternoon and evening. And they will increase a bit gradually as we head through the weekend into the same 105, maybe a little higher than that. And we go into Sunday, same situation, 100 to 105. And by Monday, now again, I think Future Track might be going a little over the top here, but you can see we're still pretty darn hot, and those heat index values still in dangerous levels. Heat advisories, Kansas and Missouri through at least Tuesday. Of course, Oklahoma goes day by day, but I wouldn't be surprised if they stick around through Tuesday. And a reminder, we have a number of extreme heat safety tips and information for you. KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. Pop-up storms and isolated scattered storms with our activity out west through the morning. Upper 70s near 80 by 8, near 90 by 11 o'clock. Highs today, mid-90s. Mid-90s continuing for a while. Pop-up storms tomorrow, dry on Sunday. More pop-up storms next week, and maybe even a brief return to near average temperatures. That's checking your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. The Joplin Outlaws are on a 5-game winning streak, including 3 in a row against the Fort Smith, and they look to complete the sweep against the Marshalls. The Outlaws outscored Fort Smith 29-0 in their doubleheader yesterday, and they dominated again, taking down the Marshalls 10-0 in a 7-inning rule victory. That's 6 in a row for Joplin as they continue their dominant season today. They're back at Joe Becker Stadium for a date with the Sherman Shadowcats. Outlaws and Missouri Southern pitcher Walker Sweet is named the Mid-America League Pitcher of the Week. In his last 2 appearances, Sweet pitched 9 innings, tallying 15 strikeouts and only surrendering 1 run on 3 hits. Switching over now to the major leagues, the Cardinals return home for a series with the San Diego Padres, looking to snap their 2-game losing skid. Now, since the All-Star break, the Cardinals have gone 1-5, and they're coming off a series loss to the worst team in baseball. But last night, they picked up the win against one of the National League's top teams. The Cards tack on 9 runs with the help of a 3-hit day from All-Star Brendan Donovan as St. Louis beats San Diego 9-7. With that win, the Cardinals now sit just 2.5 games out of the wild card. Well, PGA golfers tee off for the opening round of the 3M Open. Coming off of his Open championship, the world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler, is not participating.
Clean in place. The guys are going
has a long putt for birdie. He grips his putter kind of like Happy Gilmore, but it clearly works for him. This one goes in. Then on hole 18, he has a chance for eagle from way out, and he nails this putt as well and finishes the day 11 under. But this might be the shot of the day. Jake Knapp on hole 15. His shot from fairway is a beautiful one, and it goes straight in the hole for an eagle. And here's where we stand after round 1. Svensson sits alone at the top at 11 under thanks to that eagle on hole 18. Sam Stevens and Thorbjorn Olsen aren't far behind at 9 under. They both search for their first win on tour. The top 10 finishers are all within 4 strokes of each other. It should be an exciting weekend in Minnesota. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, some Tennessee firefighters really put the fun into a local fun fest when they sprayed kids with water on a sweltering day in Kingsport, Tennessee. This footage was streamed live on July 22nd by the Kingsport Fire Department, who said, "We've got the water flowing, we've got the kids screaming and yelling. There's all kinds of beach balls." Now, the firefighters were spraying the kids during the Kingsport Fun Fest. The National Weather Service said that hot and muggy conditions brought a heat index of around 100 degrees. And to celebrate Harry Potter's birthday, Coffee Mate is releasing festive creamers. The company says the limited edition creamers are inspired by the whimsical sweets of Honeydukes, which is a candy and sweet shop in the all-wizarding village of Hogsmeade. Now, the magical flavors will be available in grocery stores nationwide in August 2025.
I always come up with interesting flavors. I always wonder how they determine what those flavors are, even like candle scents and stuff. How do you know what? I don't know. I can't think of a good one. But they get those weird candle names, those weird flavors. How do you know what this tastes like? Like burnt mahogany. It's
fun though. It really is.
It's interesting, certainly so. But looks good. Got to try it at some point. And again, something that's cold is a good idea for the next several days, the next couple of weeks, really. All right, near 80 by 8, near 90 by 11. Scattered storms, or at least some isolated storms in our western counties. We'll watch them. Again, not expecting anything severe. We just got to see how long they manage to hold on and if maybe they can slide a little further east and help a few more of us out with some shower chances. Otherwise, hot and muggy, mid-90s, heat advisories for some of us. Heat index values today up to 105. South winds 5 to 10. Pop-up storms in the afternoon, evening. A few scattered storms in our far western counties, and a stronger low-grade severe storm cannot be ruled out late this evening and overnight, so we'll keep an eye on that as well for you. Mid-70s tonight, mid-90s again as we head into the weekend. Pop-up storms through tomorrow, and we'll have heat index values continuing to climb 105 and getting close to 110. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.